So today, or when you see this a few days ago, was a great day for Project Negroni. Not because I finally decided what to do with the bar region and worked out how to adjust for disc brakes, even though they are with the Juntex, but mainly because the Exploro Racemax has finally been announced and is public, and my orange grey one is on the way in size 54. Good times. Now, the reason why we've gone with this is obviously this is very valid. I actually loved this frame when I saw it 2 years ago when I bought my daughter's bikes, and so I had to buy it anyway when I saw it in reduction on sales. But either way, and I love Negroni, so it had to be called Project Negroni. I did think that maybe we could still call it Negroni if there had been a red, white or red, metallic red Racemax. There isn't, but it's going to be an orange, which I do like. The new graphics look absolutely amazing. And yeah, we'll have to think of another cocktail name to make that. I'm sure we can do something. Maybe call it triple sec, I don't know. However, I know that's not a cocktail, it's an ingredient for a cocktail, but... So we better get a move on. So finally decided what I'm going to be doing here. We're going to be putting the blue bar tape back on, the chameleon bar tape. We've got the Super Gaia bar. We are going to be using the Juntex with SRAM Red and the Force. Now, when the Racemax arrives, I will probably run it like this at the beginning and then either get the Force CX like I have on the Strada. So I've got 11 speed on both bikes. Or I will go AXS, or I may even go a mix of Dura Ace and GRX, or just GRX. It is hard to decide. Maybe you can let me know what you think in the comments. There are so many good group sets out there right now. But this is going ahead. I'm now going to show you the build up to this, which is quite farcical. There'll be some speed ups, but we've got the brakes on, we've got this on. I've got to sort out this took me absolutely ages to do, but I now have the gear cables in. The one thing that is missing is I managed to thread the cable and I have a brake cable. So I'm going to join those. I was going to use some fancy carbon fiber tubing with a 5mm internal diameter. However, I don't have time for that. They're just going to be joined with a barrel adjuster. And we better get on with this. And I believe Richmond Park has opened again, which means I can now do my metered route to test the power with the different frames. So it's going to be quite good. We're going to start. I am aware of the fact that I didn't start with a pure bog standard one of these, but I do have a way around that. So we're going to start with the wheels that come with it, with just upgraded crank and bars, and we'll then upgrade the wheels which have arrived, the Hunt. We'll then put the super wide 3T wheels on, and then we'll revert back to a bog standard one again. So we'll have a progression and a regression. You're going to see the rest of the film that I recorded before, which will then go to the next one when we start actually getting on the bike. Okay, it was about time we had another installment of Project Negroni. And for this, we have a Negroni in the background to keep everything in context. If that disappears, it is just there at the beginning. So Project Negroni started out, if you remember, I put on the 3D crank and not much else really. We got rid of the crank. Wheels, I've still got the original ones, got some nicer ones which I'll show you in a second, a bit later, but first we're going to start on the components. So first we're going to use this lovely handlebars. Now I had originally got some Super Gaia bars for this with a lovely flare, and I might still use them. However, they've just brought out some aero guys, which I might use instead, but I'll have to wait for them. And this I already have. And I do have this rather fetching specialized bar, which is very nice. It's a bit wide, so it's not as aero as a lot of them. I think this is a 44, 42, but it was beautifully wrapped professionally by people who know what they're doing, which is good. I confess there are 3 things I really cannot do on a bike. One of them is wrap a bar tape. I mean, I can do it, but it just doesn't look the same. Gears. Really can't do gears. But that's enough for now. Anyway, so SRAM Red. This is only 10 speed. However, with the fantastic Garbrook 11 to 42 and the 46, it should be pretty good for the sort of most of the stuff I'm doing. I might put a smaller chainring on the front. I think that is the 46. Might be putting the 42 on, but yeah, with a 10 smallest, with 11 smallest cog, I don't really want to be going much smaller than 46 because it'll spin out. If I go down to a 10, then maybe I'll get a bit smaller, but I'm not going to be tackling massive things on this. SRAM Red, well, Negroni's red. I do have a bit of a conflict. So I have 12 speed on the mountain bike. I have 11 speed currently on my 3T road bike. I've got 10 speed on the old Shiv, which is going. And then the other conundrum that we have now in a lockdown, apart from the hair that now sticks out of the side of the helmet. Now we are in a lockdown, and so I have been using this one with the 9 speed, the 8 speed that came with it, which is, was it Claris? They're all the same. There's another video on that. We won't get onto that in a second. So, yeah, been running at 8 speed because the other diverges that I've got are 8 speed as well. And so when we're swapping them between the, which you can't see, it's out of shot, but when I'm swapping them between the trainer, the Smart Interactive trainer, the Elite Diretto, then you need really the same gears, otherwise you're going to have to keep swapping the cassettes every 5 minutes, which is no fun. However, I will confess, you see, I knew the Negroni would go. It's just terrible. I'm going to stop this and put a different background on. So instead of a Negroni as a background, I will work out how to do this. You've got some weirdo's new YouTube channel, which nobody looks at. Anyway, so I may or may not put the Aero Gaia on, the Super Gaia, or wait for the Aero Gaia, don't know yet. On the front, obviously we're not using the old zip, but this, I also have one which I painted in this colour, which may go on, we shall see. We do have the 3T025 seat post, because I don't like aluminium seat posts. Now, brake lines, we have, not that you can see them, but in here are the Dwintex, and we're going to be using those because, along with these lovely Dura Ace rotors, which I love, we don't need to bleed and sort out all the brake cables. One of the problems with internal routing is, I mean, it's fine, it's enough of a pain, internal routing, with brakes and actual cables. Hydraulic cables, you've got to cut them, bleed them, it's not really my thing. So first off, I'm going to try and sort it out without those. And in the meantime, I don't know if the light is picking these up, but these are matching kind of chameleon sort of colours. Careful that cable doesn't hit me in the face. And I don't know if it works, if it's too much of the candy red or not. We shall have to see. But this is what's going on in the first place. Stay. So to complete this, we then have the SRAM Force rear derailleur. Now you're going to be saying the Force 1 is an 11-speed rear derailleur. Well, one of the amazing things about SRAM Force 1 is that it works on both 10 speed and 11 speed. I'm picking it up like this because I never really cleaned this properly as it came off the bike. And so it allows you to run both. And I was considering getting the 11 speed shifters, but then ultimately I think she's going to get some 12 speed. There's no point doing 11 speed in the middle. I'm hanging on to 11 speed because I prefer the 9 to 36 cassette that I've got, or 9 to X cassette, which doesn't really work yet in 12 speed. And yeah, I mean 10 speed is enough. And also, I don't know if I've said this enough already, but this first and the second generation SRAM Red was absolutely lovely. Sadly, the rear derailleur, which I have downstairs, doesn't really work very well because it, I think it maxes out on a 28T. I have run it with a wolf tooth extender, the Goat Link, Wolf Link, whatever it's called, and that's running up to a 36. Still not enough, and it isn't the best setup. I mean, it works, but it's just not. I mean, when I first got the SRAM Red the first time, I'm sure many people had this as well. When you change the gears, it was just literally clunk, clunk, clunk. You know, that Teutonic feeling of a good German car door. It's just nice. And with the Force, it's still like that. It gives me a path to 11 speed. If I don't want to take that path, I won't take it. If I do want to take that path, I will do, because one of the things I have considered is putting 12 speed on my main road bike and moving the 11 over to this, but that will mean routing hydraulic cables all over the place, which on a test mule bike, that the ultimate goal is we're going to put all lovely new parts on this bike, slowly measuring the upgrades. So the next one we're going to be testing is how fast it is with the old wheels versus the new wheels and with all the new bits on. I've already done a test of it as is, but with the power meter, which is the first thing that we've done, we will be able to see on the same circuit, like for like, with the same power or compensated for the same power, how much difference your bucks go for, and eventually we'll be changing the frame. So as you can imagine, swapping components out and having to bleed hydraulic cables every time is not what you want. So I think with that said, we should really get to it.